Why do you have brown hair and another person has black hair, or you have brown eyes and another person has, well, black eyes? Okay, that information, that genetic information, is carried in a molecule known as the DNA, and that DNA is short form for deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, so you can see where the DNA, why we call it DNA, is a short form for deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, now let's look at the structure of the DNA. The DNA contains double strands of nucleotides. Okay, so this one strand of a nucleotide, and then there's another strand of a nucleotide intertwining with itself, forming a bond with itself, one strand forming a bond with another strand, okay, to form a double helix. So the DNA structure is basically a double helix. So what is contained in each of these nucleotide? All right, in a nucleotide, first thing that we would find in the nucleotide is the nucleobase. Okay, these are the bases. These colorful columns here are the bases. So the nucleobase, so we're going to call it the base, and then a monosaccharide. A very simple sugar known as deoxyribose. Deoxyribose. And then a phosphate group. Okay, you must know this. This makes up the nucleotide. So each of these nucleotide binds the deoxyribose end, the sugar end here. This sugar end, deoxyribose, binds with the phosphate end. Okay, so to form long strands of DNA. All right, now let's look at a very important part of the DNA, very important, the base, the nucleobase. Okay, which I told you are represented in this diagram by these columns. Okay, there are two types of this base that are found in the DNA. The first type is the purines. Okay, and the second type is the pyrimidines. All right, so what are the purines? Which, let's look at what type of purines that we see in a DNA. The first one is this here, this one here, the blue. Okay, that represents adenine. And then we have this green one here, this green column here, representing guanine. All right, Ag. And then for the pyrimidines that you find in the DNA, is the first one is the cytosine. Okay, that's C. And then the other one is the thymine. Okay, which will represent as yellow T. Okay, now there are rules governing how these bases bind to each other. They bind using to each other via a special type of bond known as hydrogen bond. Okay, so the rule that governs it can easily be seen in this diagram. The adenine, our adenine, there's A. Okay, our adenine here binds only with thymine. Okay, that's our T, binds only with thymine. All right, while guanine, okay, guanine binds, that's G, will bind only with cytosine. All right, so anytime a DNA strand occurs in any place where there is a DNA strand, the adenine base will bind to the thymine, and then the guanine will bind to cytosine. This is basically the structure of a DNA. Okay, and so you can easily tell by this binding. I can easily form an equation from this adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine bases, and then I can easily arrange it, and then you can easily tell which of them will bind to which. So let's look at a quick example. here. All right, so going to create a new layer. Okay, good. Let's look at this example. Let's say I'm giving you adenine, right? And then I place, let's say, guanine here, and then thymine, cytosine, adenine, guanine, cytosine. So looking at this bases, these nucleobases that I've listed out here, you can easily determine which will bind to which. Okay, like we said, guanine only binds to cytosine. So, and here the base that we'll find here will be cytosine here. Then this adenine will occur here, adenine will occur here, guanine will occur here. Okay, thymine will occur here, another cytosine will occur here, and then guanine will occur here, and here we have thymine occurring. So this is basically one strand, and then this is another strand. So it's easy now for you to understand how DNA binds, okay, how the bases bind, and also how the structure of DNA and what influences the binding of DNA bases.